Welcome back to Louis the Gunner. Third video in a day. It's a record since my fledgling new YouTube channel started. I've only ever made one YouTube channel before, and it took a while to get going. 3 or 4 months, and then it exploded. Like I said, that was to do with politics, and I'm trying to leave that behind. Football's politics is even more complicated, I think, because your heart and soul's in it as well, isn't it? You know? But this is my idea. I think these Yanks, and unfortunately, if we treat the Yanks like this, I'm going to go, the Abramovich and Man City's owners, Mansour, whatever his name is, and any other future foreign investor will have to be treated brutally the same. The German model has to come in England, without a shadow of a doubt. 49% to any foreign owner who wants to come into Premier League. 51% goes to the fans. Every time. That's without question. Now, we won't attract the best players. Yeah. This European Super League's going to attract the best players. That's if it happens. Without the Premier League teams, I mean, that would look rather unlikely. Well, maybe they're banking on the Premier League teams because we're the most popular league in the world. They're desperate for us. Why do you think they chose 6 of our teams? 6. I'm not being horrible to Tottenham, but why Tottenham have won? They haven't even won a Premier League. Fair enough. They've got one miserable record that they share with us: getting to a Champions League final and losing. We got there first. Now, banter all aside, I think these guys need to be shoved out the door. New legislation needs to come in to football where 51% of the shares need to be handed over to the fans. I don't know how all that works. Certainly not. Supporters certainly wouldn't be able to afford them as such. So they'd have to give us 51%. Otherwise, they'd have to forfeit the 100%. Bye. It would put off a lot of investors coming to the Premier League. Yeah, we would see a massive decline in foreigners coming into our league, which has made it such a great league. But we would save English football. And isn't that what the most important thing is? To save our clubs. Up and down the land. In every league. Grassroots. Yeah? Because, like, 300 million a year. I mean, if it did come to the Super League, right, and say we'd get 300 million a year, for being in the league. on what position. I'm sure you get more for finish. That's standard rate. I think if you win it, or you're going to get more, obviously. But the English clubs could come to an agreement where they give money back to English football, so English football doesn't go under, grassroots doesn't go under, and it continues to flow. I'm sure Arsenal would. What I'm saying now is Stan Kronke in it, but I think people like Kronke would have to be made to. I mean, most people, most human beings would want that. If he wants the next crop of English talent coming through, then he's going to have to, isn't he? For his son. Otherwise, we're going back 30, 40, 50 years. But just say the worst happens and the Super League happens. That would be a nice gesture from the English teams to give so many million back each every calendar year. Boom. I don't know how many million, maybe 20 million each. I say that's what? It's 100 million. It's 120 million. That's more than the Champions League winner earns at its current format. So, I'm sure some of it could be worked out. That's thinking worse. I would rather them just take the clubs away from these owners and say, you either give 51% of the voting rights of this club to the supporters and let them have a say, or you're going to lose your club completely and we're just going to take your business from you and fuck your visa off forever. Because the damage you're doing to millions of people in this country. I'm sorry about all the foreign supporters out there at the moment. I know there's a lot. But I'm not thinking of you. I'm thinking of England. I'm thinking of my own supporters, my own friends, my own family who support the big six as such. I've got friends who are Tottenham fans. I've got friends who are loads of Man United fans as friends. I've got loads of fans who are Liverpool supporters. I grew up in the age when Liverpool were the dominant side. When it was more my era, it wasn't so much Fergie Wenger, it was Georgie Graham, 1-0 to the Arsenal, but it was Liverpool were our main rivals. But then they faded away, and then the Premier League came in, and that was a breakaway league. A lot of people had misgivings about that at first, but it was just Division 1 it changed its name to the Premier League, and I think they cut the teams by a certain number, not so many teams. But they certainly didn't have any founding members and no relegation and all this crap. That's not football. That's not football. Yeah? The whole country needs to get behind this. This is not just about football. This is about morals, integrity, lawfulness as well. I mean, surely they're breaking some sort of law. Maybe they do this in America. I don't know. To not be able to play for your country, to not be able to play in the Premier League, it's going to scare a lot of youngsters. A lot of young, like young Saka, like young Smith Rowe coming through. To say you'll never play for, as long as you play for Arsenal, you'll never play for England ever again. That's going to ruin them young boys' heads. Let alone everyone else. Sad state of affairs. There's things to be done. The German model is the way forward. So, auf Wiedersehen on that one. Nice one, Germany. You had the right idea, man. I remember hearing about this 51% years ago and thinking it was what a great idea. And they still have managed to attract great foreigners to their into their league. It might not be as good as the Premier League, but the Premier League would never be the same again. Remember that. If we manage to stop this, they would try and fuck us over big time. Let 'em. We still have our league. We still have our Premier League. We still have our champion, our Champions League. Every season, surely, there's going to be a Champions League still. I'm sure UEFA aren't just going to fall over and say bye. I'm not ashamed at Arsenal. I'm ashamed at Stan Kroenke. Because it's not Arsenal doing it, it's Kroenke. Yeah? He only uses the name Arsenal because he owns Arsenal. Remember, it's not Arsenal, it's Kroenke. Auf Wiedersehen.